Hey guys, this is going to be a build about skeleton rogues and skeletal mages. Now, most people don't play these minions because they have bad AI, bad movement speed, bad clear speed, and they're not very good for bossing, given that they're melee and minions, so you have to resummon them, and they don't do a lot. Now, these are pretty much considered some of the worst minions when it comes to being compared to, for example, Summon Wraith, or Abomination, or ranged skeletal mages. However, we can make them work. How do we do this? Simple. The gameplay loop is basically summon your army, use Infernal Shade on them, use Dread Shade, and unleash them. Now, as you see, the damage here is mid 25k, low 30k. However, it can go up. So we have like a total of about 500k damage between every single skeleton. How do we do this? Why do you use Infernal Shade? Well, we have this item here, Lich's Scorn, which is amazing for the skeletons. What it does is converts Dread Shade to cold, gives you frostbite chance for the minions, which is not very important, increases freeze rate multiplier, not very important again, gives you 12 flat cold damage. Actually, it's 5 to 13. Cold flat damage with spells and attacks per attached Infernal Shade the moment you cast Dread Shade. On top of that, it gives you 1% penetration per intelligence for your minions. So, what does this mean? Dread Shade is now cold. Your intelligence equals penetration for that cold damage. And every Infernal Shade you cast and have attached gives you extra flat damage. That's how this build works. Give everyone Infernal Shades. You have 6 of them up. Really nice. Get some Dread Shade over here. There we go. 40s. I believe it can go up to 50s. And the more 60s, there we go. The more minions you get inside, the better it is. That's why we increase AoE on the Dread Shade. Also, the way the Infernal Shade works is that it snapshots to the moment you cast it. So the moment you cast it, it reads how many Infernal Shades there are and just keeps that. So you don't need to constantly apply it, nor do you need to have it infinitely on. Which is great, because otherwise your minions would die. So, let's go into the skill tree. Very basic. Get all the minions you can. Get all the more damage you can. And you can choose to spend the last of your points into Unholy Rage or Necrotic Conviction. Again, very standard. Attack speed, multiple projectiles, a little bit of crit, damage, etc. This, again, very standard. Extra maximum shades, mana efficiency here, and cast speed. We get this so that every time we cast, what's the name? Infernal Shade, we get 2 more. So with 1 cast, we have 3. With 2 casts, well, I'll go back to this later. So with 2 casts, we get 6, ideally. Now, we have here the minion nodes. We take those, except Soulfire. Why do we not take Soulfire? Because we could do that, however, it would require a lot of minion regen and a lot of increased minion health. You could get that. You could also reapply Infernal Shade to lessen the debuff, to reset the counter. However, as you saw before, the active Infernal Shades did not go to 6 when I cast it the second time. Why does this happen? Because the targeting is extremely shitty, and it targets the same minion even if you hover over others. So you see, I have 4 now instead of 6, because it targeted the same minions. And those minions are taken faster than the other ones. So, in order to save you the headache, we just don't get this. It's fine. The Dread Shade tree, you can opt for Symbiotic Apparition. The reason I don't take it is because I don't want to get the buff from Dread Shade, because if you do get the Dread Shade buff, your Infernal Shade damage goes up as well. and you may actually kill your minions when you're casting it. Other than that, it's the standard zombie tree. You get your ward, you survive. Now, gear-wise, this gear is pretty mediocre at best. However, what you do get is crit for your skeletons, life. Crit for your skeletons, life. Your uniques here, this gives you resistances. You can later, when you balance your resistances, change it for a DPS weapon. Lich of Scorn, you need this. You can get this from the third timeline, I believe. Blood, Frost, and Death or something. It's easy to farm, actually. You can opt for Death Rattle, although you can also get a rare amulet, that's fine. I go for this for a little bit more damage. Intelligence, health, normal standard health. We have a Terrace Path over here, which is good because it gives a lot of health, a lot of movement speed, and it casts Entangling Roots. No, wait, summon vines, my bad. So when we move, there are vines. Why do we like this? Because vines are considered minions. And when minions die, we can spec into getting 50 ward per minion death. And Death Rattle already gives us 30 health on minion death. So when these die, a set of 3 just died. Therefore we got 90 HP and potentially 150 ward. So that's a way for recovery if you want to go that way. On top of that, we have the standard 2% skeleton crit chance idols. That's fine. You can have one for marked for death. That's important. Afterwards, just go for health and resistances. Now, as you saw, the damage here was in the 50k to 60k mark, which puts us at about 600, 700k damage. If you want to go for a more paper, for a more glass cannon approach, you could equip the Pebble set, which gives a lot of flat damage. On top of that, you can get a DPS weapon. Let me just... wait, never mind. It's part of the... Go. Okay, only 60k per. You can probably go a bit higher. I can hit it better. Nice. 70k. And with better gear, you can absolutely go up to 1 million easily. Now, the passives are the basic ones here. Vitality, cast speed, intelligence, and resistances. The standard ones for your minions. On top of that, there's not really much variance here because there is no choice when it comes to minions in the skill tree. You could build a little bit more defensively and take Reclamation of Souls, but that's about as far as it goes. I mean, it's pretty basic. You will always take Frantic Summons, you will always take River of Bones, you will always take the crit, you will always take the multiplier. It's really basic. And so far that has been the guide. The build clears monoliths pretty fast. Bosses as well, it just melts bosses. Currently, the only thing I can do on this character, since it's quite low level, is show you a quick monolith. Only 130 corruption or so. That's it. So, enjoy the rest of the gameplay.